So let's say you're at an Airbnb and it's time to hop on your laptop and get a little bit of work done, check one of your dozen social media accounts, or just watch some good old-fashioned adult films just like mom used to make. You open up the connection options and try to find the Wi-Fi and... what's that? What does that mean? Is there an unmarked van full of agents in the area scouting out crimes? Have you unknowingly booked a front row seat for the next American tragedy? Probably not, though that's always a possibility. Since time immemorial, the FBI Surveillance Van Wi-Fi has always been in a neighborhood near you. It's the graphic tee of the technological world, proudly displayed by the type of people who still think it's funny to go into Spencer's and point at titties. The type of guy who thinks the female body inspector hat is the pinnacle of humor. The type of guy who sends hilarious e-cards to friends and coworkers. But it hasn't always been this way, has it? As far back as I can remember, it feels like the van has always been there, and especially now, I feel there's always one within reach of my computer's often tenuous signal. But where did it all start? Searching Google Trends for the term FBI Surveillance Van Wi-Fi gave me two important months, the first one being August 2011. That month, this image began making the rounds. It is one of the first known misunderstandings of the joke and ultimately a public admission of guilt in a way. You see, this post here was made by a little homie named Jared Kano. Kano had a reason to be suspicious that he was being monitored. Jared Kano had been expelled from Freedom High School in Tampa, Florida in 2009 for inappropriate behavior, the likes of which will never truly be known due to Kano being a minor at the time and the lack of coverage of this story overall. Kano was more than just a bit butthurt over this expulsion and decided that it was time for him to get a little revenge. The post in question was made on August 14th, and just 3 days later, Kano was arrested. When the police searched his home, they found all the materials necessary to make a pipe bomb, journals with drawings of the school and his plans outlined, a manifesto, cell phone videos detailing the whole plot, and worst of all, marijuana. Jared Kano's plan was to, quote, outdo Columbine, and though he wasn't in possession of any guns at the time, he definitely had the capability of making bombs. He had a down-to-the-minute plan for how he was going to do it, and he had donkey brains. Luckily, the Tampa police caught him before another American tragedy could befall us once again. Once news broke out, and this Facebook post was discovered, this seemed to be the straw that cracked the camel's hump. FBI Surveillance Van's Wi-Fi's place was solidified as another early internet meme that was going to be endlessly used by any knuckle-dragging, helmet-wearing mouth breather with enough brain function to choose their router name. By the way, of course it wasn't the FBI actually tailing Kano. Police responded to a tip from one of Kano's friends about the bombing plot. Jared had a rat in the house. A snitch. Hell, it was probably the homie Nick Peasy himself. By the way, Jared is set to be released in just 5 short years, so keep an eye out for that. Astute viewers will notice that there is a noticeable second spike in searches for this topic as well, going back even further to late 2004, October or November to narrow it down just a hair. Now, try as I might, I can't seem to find anything online that points to exactly why this spike occurred. Kano stuck out like a sore thumb. Whatever happened in 2004 has crawled back into whatever cave it came from and possibly died, erasing all evidence that it ever existed. I was confident in my search that I would be able to narrow it down to something specific, like a throwaway line from Shrek 2, some detail mentioned in the launching of Facebook, or a highly specific episode of CSI. I googled, I ducked and I went, I bravely searched. Hell, I stopped just short of asking my man Jeeves, but to my great disappointment I could find nothing. Maybe it's a glitch in Google Trends. It only goes back as far as 2004 after all. Maybe it was an image macro that got circulated on 4chan, which has since been 404'd. Maybe a chain email, remember those? Or maybe it was just an exponential growth in the awareness of a harmless joke which was quickly becoming stale. A joke that unimaginative edgelords wearing foamy t-shirts were propagating in at least one basement in every neighborhood in America. Or maybe there really is an FBI surveillance van in your area. hiding in plain sight like a great gray owl ready to swoop down and strike at the moment of their choosing. After all, this wouldn't be the first time and surely won't be the last that the government just didn't even bother to conceal their movements. All it takes is a quick search of the FBI vault to allegedly reveal the fact that an ex-Air Force sergeant helmed cult allegedly involved in child procurement, ritual abuse, and CP was all but allowed to operate in America, allegedly, with the FBI and other organizations refusing to pursue them, allegedly, because of the leader's connections in the intelligence community, allegedly. Okay, now that I'm on a list and so are you, let's talk about what will be the elephant in the room to anyone with even a limited knowledge of information systems. The van itself. It's a sexy idea, 2 sweaty FBI agents smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee in an unmarked white van wearing headphones and listening to brown people's phone conversations. You can picture it clearly, it's been depicted in countless movies, but the truth is we've been living in an era where that entire operation is obsolete for a long time, since even before Jared Kano and Nick Peasy discovered that fateful router in a haze of ganja. If the FBI wants your info, guess what? They've already got it. And it's not just them, your internet service provider, your Google account, even your local grocer already knows more about you than you know about yourself due to the rampant data harvesting over the last couple decades. And if they want to know something else, they'll just contact Comcast or whoever and enter your computer or phone on the back end, take what they need and hop out again in the time it takes you to walk over to the kitchen and pour a bowl of white cheddar popcorn. Realistically, the van is totally irrelevant, as our government has plenty of tools to get what they want without ever leaving the office. So it looks like we've drawn to a close on this one. Maybe the van was just a joke that got out of hand. Maybe a psyop to remind you that Big Brother is always watching. Maybe just the government operating out in the open, daring anyone to speak out about it so they can be pointed to and mocked into oblivion. Or maybe it's all overblown. I mean, how many nameless and nondescript Wi-Fis have I scrolled past in my life without a second thought? Maybe it's just confirmation bias happening in real time whenever I do notice one out in the wild. And anyways, how could there be that many government routers just hanging around the country without being constantly noticed every hour of every day? Maybe I'm just overthinking things.
Sentimiento de